Hi everyone. So this will be a review for the brand new Technics Aura Evo earphone. It's a new dynamic driver earphone that came out recently, just barely a few weeks ago. A big shout out to Linso for sending this over for review. Very massive thank you to the brand. If you want to purchase it, visit linso.com. I'll leave the link in the description to their store on AliExpress as well. They have so many products, including this Rose Technics. Now let's dive into what you can expect. This is the way the box looks like. The box is simple. It comes with just simple look. With a simple look, there is an inside this particular side of the box you get your tips pretty much. And the only downside to the accessories that they give you is just these tips. I'm not so much of a huge fan of the ear tips that is included, because they give you wide bore ear tips, and because this is a proper earbud style earphone, it's not an in-ear monitor that wraps around your ears. This one requires more or less like a bullet, the regular bullets style the tips to be able to fit into your ears properly. So if you use this type, it might just be hanging out of your ears and might even fall off if your ears cannot handle this sort of tips. So if you buy the earphone, I would suggest you get a Whizzer ear tip. I use Whizzer ear tips. I really love Whizzer ear tips a lot. I will leave a link to where you can get Whizzer ear tips in the description. You get it directly from their store, or you could also buy the CP100, DUNU CP100. I use DUNU CP100 tips as well, and that is what I used in testing these earbuds, because that's the only way you can be able to use this earbud. It's gonna be a big problem when you buy it and the particular ear tips they give you cannot fit your ears, and that's just a problem. But if you sort that out, every other thing starts working well enough, and I will explain what you can expect. Look is fine. It's fine. It's coming with a non-detachable cable, but the one they sent to me came with a mic, which is fine. And it's just there. It's built okay. It's not the best build quality I've seen on an earphone before, so it's just there. I like the braided cable, this part. I like the braided cable. It's just good enough. Then they give you a very fine looking case. This case, they give you this fine looking case, and I think the case is okay. It's not the best, but it's okay. It's good enough, if I'm being honest. If you go through the packaging, it's fine. Then you now step to the main important thing, which is sound quality. Now, when we get to sound quality, it becomes very interesting, because a lot of people might be a fan or might not be a fan. It all depends on what you are aiming for in terms of tuning. This particular earphone is tuned to be neutral / bright, and it can either be a good thing or it could be a bad thing for many people. The problem I have with neutral earphones of this modern age is that they tend to not give you proper low end. They just don't give you proper low end. They don't have the slam, the impact, and the authority that you might be looking for. So that is just the problem I have with modern tuned earphones these days. They all follow this Harman target tuning that is nice. If you listen to music with it, it is nice. But when you start listening to complicated tracks, for instance, when you watch movies with more recent earphones, you start seeing that it cannot compare to older school earphones that have very, very, very dynamic tuning to them in terms of the way they handle low frequency. And that is a problem with more modern style tuned earphones, because they tend to sound very clear. They resolve very well. I would say this is a very, very well detailed earphone. If you buy this for somebody, they will love the clarity. The clarity is just there. It is very good. The problem with clarity is if I'm hearing detail and I'm not hearing like the full impact of the sound, it becomes a bit of a problem, because no matter how good the sound is, it is not going to compensate for the lack of low end. It's not going to compensate for the lack of uh for the low frequency effects. It's not going to, which is a big problem. So these are things you have to consider before going out to purchase any earphone right now. Modern earphones, it's just because they are resolving, but they don't tend to have a lot of low frequency, and that is a problem that I've detected not only with this particular earphone but almost all models of earphones of this recent era. It's becoming a trend now. They don't want to put a lot of low frequency, they don't want to put a lot of slam and punch in the low end. Everybody wants to have this detailed frequency in their tuning, which is fine, but it becomes a bit boring and a bit too bright in some occasions. But what I can say is that this earphone is well tuned. It is well tuned. If you take away the fact that it lacks low frequency effects, it is a well-tuned earphone that will be fantastic for audiophiles that don't want to spend a lot of money. Look, if you don't want to spend a lot of money, this is the kind of earphone you go for, because for $35 you will buy this and you'll be fine with this. I don't think you would be complaining when you get your hands on this. It has everything you're looking for. The mic is not too bad. There is some echo when I make calls. There is some echo when I mean my voice is reverberated back to the person that I'm talking to. They complain that they are hearing my no, they are hearing their own voice back at at themselves. So that's the only downside with the microphone. There is kind of like a reverberation of the person you are talking to, the voice back at the person. So that's just the negative with the microphone. I normally don't use in-ear monitor mics these days to make calls. I just prefer to use my phone directly to make my calls, and that's that. That's just me. That's just me. But everything is okay. It's okay. The only problem I have is the fact that it doesn't have a lot of low frequency to compensate for the lack of body. It doesn't have this body, this full body sound that I'm looking for from an earphone that gives me everything. I need a balance, good bass and still detailed mids and highs. But when you tend to have detailed mids, extended highs, that becomes a bit shouty, and you don't compensate it with the bass, it becomes a problem for me, because I can't like listen to you for a long term. So that's my finding, and it's just the way things are right now. In terms of my finding for this particular Aura Evo, it's still a nice earphone. I don't think it's a bad set in terms of anything. It's just that this is the new modern way of tuning earphones, and you just have to deal with it and live with it the way it is. And if you know that, and you understand that the earphones of this modern generation are very, very bright, you have to deal with that, and you'll be fine by that. So I'll leave a link to where you can get it in the description. It's a nice earphone. I still recommend it. What you need to know is that it's a neutral tuned earphone, and you have to deal with the neutrality. And if you need something with more bass, you might have to look elsewhere. Subscribe to the channel, like our content here. I'll see everybody very much next time.